Hi everyone, my name is Lydia, your money mentor online, and I'm here today to talk to you about side hustles for hardworking people. Right, so there are some people who are really good with their hands, and these are the people that I'm talking to today. Side hustles for you, things that you can do that other people aren't good at and that you can just make money out of. So let's dig into these, and I have a few of those. So the first one I wanted to touch on was pressure washing. Pressure washing. Pressure washing of driveways, of walls. Think about it, right? No one knows how to actually keep their driveway as clean as it should be. It gets moldy, it gets, slippery and slimy and green, and those are things that we don't want to see. So how do we keep them clean? That's where you come in, my friends. Simply getting a pressure washer. You could either rent it, which may not be as profitable if you're in this for the long term, or you could buy it. Now, I checked this out online, and you could get a pressure washer for as little as £60 for ownership, literally. You're buying it for £60. So from 60 to up to about 220, you can buy a pressure washer. And that is your outlay. Your outlay is buying the pressure washer. You're gonna need some gloves probably, and of course you wanna stay dry if you can. So, the wet pants that keep you dry. Those are the kind of things you buy. So you can actually start this business with very little outlay. Think about it, pressure washing. So I did some research on the potential income of this. You could charge people to do their driveways for up to £200. Okay, you've already almost covered your outlay with your first deal. And then the second thing you could probably do is do it on a daily basis. So if you work for someone else, or you choose to actually have your people pay a daily rate, that gets you about $150 to $200 a day. So think about that, guys. You spend about $200, $250 to buy a good pressure washer. You then figure out how to advertise. So you go into your local Facebook groups, or do it online on Instagram or TikTok or wherever you choose to put your services. Drop your old-fashioned flyers, and boom, you have a pressure washing business. Now, it definitely tends to work better during the summer when people actually want to see those things clean and they take the time, but you have some seasonality there. But realistically, you can actually make some good bank, as my kids say. So think about that. Pressure washing, a really cool idea to make some money for the hard worker. Next on the list is gutter cleaning. Think about this, guys. Every single house has a gutter. You can't avoid it. It is what it is. You have to be able to keep them clean. Otherwise, you end up causing water damage to a house. So if a gutter is dirty or has leaves in it, it's blocked, the water doesn't flow properly, it overflows to the side and it damages the house. So you're actually providing a really valuable service that actually helps ensure that the house is maintained properly. And in doing so, literally, you can make some serious money. Again, all you need for this particular thing is a few things. You could probably get a pressure washer if you want one. Just be careful so you don't break the gutter. But then you can also get gloves. You need to get the clothes that keep you dry, like your sweater or whatever it is you wear on top of that. And then that's pretty much it. Those are what you need to get started. And then, similar to the previous side hustle I mentioned, you would then go ahead and advertise locally. You could actually use those local newspapers or Facebook groups, again, internet, wherever you can on social media. Put yourself doing a job before and after and see the difference and let people understand that. I'm part of many of these local groups online. So you have Our Neighbor Next Door, things like that, where I see people advertise all the time. And even when they're not advertising, I see people go on there and say, hey, does anyone know who does a good pressure wash for driveways? Or does anyone know who could do a good lawn? Those are things and those are places where you could put your business, put your experience, put photos of what you've done, and you are naturally, organically creating a business and a following. And so when people need that job done, who are they going to call? They're going to call you, and you're going to make some good money. So, and all you need for this are 4 things, really. Think about it. You need a ladder to be able to get up to the gutter. You need a leaf blower, potentially, to actually push the leaves out of the gutter. You need bags to collect the leaves. You don't leave them lying there. You make sure that you leave your place as tidy as possible as when you got there. And of course, you need gloves, because other things end up living in the gutter as well. So you're going to need gloves to clean those out. But think about how inexpensive that is to get started. As long as you promote your business is going to boom twice a year at least. Specifically in autumn, when the leaves fall and they fall into the gutter. And of course, sometimes in spring where things start growing in gutters. So automatically you have two seasonal aspects where you can benefit from cleaning out gutters. And of course, it doesn't eliminate, summer and other seasons. The reality is there are always times when your gutter needs to be clean. And you, my friend, can be the local hero who does that. The third one I wanted to bring up was trash can washing. So we call them bins here in the UK. Think about it. You have your massive bins that you actually have to put out maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks in the UK. But you put them out once a week, and what happens is they end up getting stinky and dirty and moldy. And every so often, you really just want to give those a good scrub. But who wants to do it? I know I don't. But if you, my friend, were to say, I'm going to clean bins once a week for my neighbors, and I will charge them 15 to 20 pounds. I will do that. I would do that if I know I can get it done on a regular basis and you do a good job. So think about it. All you're doing is putting out flyers around people that you live next to. And I've seen this done on a scalable level, but it's a really good way to help your neighbors. And have you ever been on walks when it's bin day? I have. It's not fun. You walk past the bin and you're like, what just happened there? So you will be providing an excellent service, guys, for your neighbors and for your friends. So start by putting out those flyers. Start by doing your own bin. Start by actually having a sign maybe on your bin on bin day. Everyone comes out and looks to see which bin goes out on which day, don't they? So how about putting a sign on your own bin? That's a great way to start getting attention. What do you need to start this? 4 things. It's really, really simple. The first is you're going to need a pressure washer. Now, that makes your job super easy. And it actually simplifies the process for you. So getting a pressure washer, which we've always talked about already, you can get it for as little as £60. That is your starting point to actually get the dirt out of the trash can. The next thing that you need is gloves, obviously. You don't want to be touching that because you could actually get sick. So make sure that you have good gloves that go all the way up, probably to your elbows if you can. The next thing that you'll need is something that is an antibacterial that will cleanse the inside of the bin properly. So you want to get some sort of spray that kills germs and actually make sure that the bin is properly clean. And last but not least, you want to have some sort of deodorizer that leaves a really nice smell in that bin so that when someone comes who has actually paid you to do that job, they can see that you've made the effort and that the bin smells better. Okay, so those are the key things that you want to have at the very start of this journey. You could probably get started with that with maybe about £100. Crazy, isn't it? Including your pressure washer if you get a less expensive one. So all you need to do now is advertise that business on the local groups that we talked about previously, and guess what? You're in for a little bit of money. So this is something for not the faint-hearted, but it's definitely something for the hard worker who can use their hands to actually earn some money. The next one is mobile detailing, guys. Mobile detailing. It's where people go to your homes to clean your cars. Guys, this is actually an exceptionally valuable service. It might not be one that you use all the time, but it is one that really, really helps. I remember when we were leaving the States and wanting to sell our cars, I didn't have the time to go ahead and give that car a deep clean. But we called a guy who we knew could actually come to our home and clean our cars. The first thing that every single person who stepped into the car said was that your car is so clean. And I smiled because I did not maintain it that way ever. But the reality is it made such an impression and people found it awesome. They were like, this is such a clean car. So it's an exceptional service that people can provide that helps you maintain your car, okay? And I'll tell you this, the first person who looked at both of our cars bought them. We didn't have a second person. Both of those cars were bought pretty much on the spot. So my reference to you is if you know someone who does this or you can do this yourself, this is a really amazing service because not everyone has time for their cars, especially moms. We don't have time to clean our cars. We've got to carry our kids everywhere with a driver, with a cook. We do all of those things. And cleaning our car is really low on the totem pole in terms of priorities. So if you can actually be that hero who goes to someone's home, washes their car on the outside, vacuums it, deodorizes it, dusts it, and all that in a very short time frame, my friend, you will make some serious money because your services will be in demand. Okay, so think about that as an option. Now, what do you need to get started in this? All you need is a detailing kit. These are online. If you actually just go into Google and search them, I found some that were as little as £70 all the way up to over £120. But you want to start with what you can afford, right? Remember, we're in this to actually make some money, not just spend money, and not just use it on your own car, my friends, especially if you're a guy, I know you guys. But just bear this in mind, that this is something that would really help people. So just putting that on your status on WhatsApp, putting that on your Facebook group, on your Facebook page, put that somewhere around for your neighbors to see, you will be surprised. I can tell you, sometimes I'm out walking and I've seen a guy who goes to a certain guy's house. It's not a fancy car, not a fancy house, but he has someone go there because he doesn't have the time. And that gentleman probably makes some nice money from washing that car and detailing it himself. So bear that in mind as an option. It's very low entry in terms of your outlay, and it can actually do you some really good income in terms of what you bring in, as long as you advertise and as long as you're consistent. By the way, for the car detailing, what I've seen is as little as £50 can be paid to you. But imagine if you do 3 cars a day or 2 cars a day, right? That's £100, £150 before tax. So that could be something that could really help you earn some money. Even if you just do it on weekends and you're looking at 3 cars a day, that is £300 in a weekend, just based on your ability to go into someone's house and clean their car exceptionally well, leave it smelling awesome, and my friend, you're in a good place. So this is something I would highly recommend. Now, the other thing that I heard about that's really interesting is the idea of painting people's houses. Not the whole house, but just painting the number on the house. So I saw this really nicely somewhere I went. I think it was actually Canada that I went to. And I saw people had done beautiful calligraphy on the side of the house, saying the name of the house. So it might have been number 2 driveway street, whatever. But it was beautifully painted in the same position on every house on the street. And it just looked so awesome. And apparently this can be done for $20, literally. £20, £25, it's done. And every year it might fade away, but you come back and do it again. So it's consistency in terms of your money, and it actually generates some income for you as well. Beautifies the street and makes the whole area look nice. So that's another one, painting numbers on houses. Now remember, I understand that this one might be a little bit weak because you can go onto Etsy and get a house number for yourself. But that's another option. If you don't want to do it that way, you could do it where someone comes and paints it for you. Again, these are skills that only people who know how to use their hands can actually benefit from. I'm terrible at painting. My husband will tell you that. So for people who actually know how to do this very well, this is an option where you can make some money. Last but not least, this is one that is not for the faint-hearted, but it's definitely one that can be done. If you have a spare room in your house, you could rent it out to Airbnb. This is house hacking 101. I absolutely love this idea, if you know that you're going to be safe. Okay, so just be wary of who you let through your doors. My friend has actually been to houses where he lives with them for a couple of days. He was out doing a country run, so he's running around the country, and he would go to Airbnbs and stay in people's houses, and they would make him breakfast, and he would live in that house for a night and move on to the next place. So you're renting out your room to a lodger, basically, and what I've seen in the UK is literally around £50 is what people tend to charge per night. Think about that, okay? Stop and think about that for a second. If you rent your house out just 4 nights in the month, you are looking at £200 extra, just like that. This is actually a really good deal. Now, there are some upsides and downsides to this. The downsides is for those nights that person is there, you probably will limit the amount of time that you spend in the home, or you have to make sure that your home is actually really clean and tidy all the time. Those are things that some might struggle with. But the reality is the payoff is actually a good one. It's literally letting it out, not on a regular basis. It's not every single day. You can sell it, you could rent out your house to a lodger, of course, but this is just 1 night every so often. How cool is that, right? So, think about that. It's house hacking 101. You do it on Airbnb, and it's a great way to generate some more income. Now, how do you do that? You got to make sure that the house is clean, like I said. You might want to paint that room. You might want to tartan up your toilet, make it decent so that it can be shared. Those are things that are one-time investments, so it will cost you a little bit of money in terms of an outlay. But in the long term, if you actually maintain that and you get excellent reviews on Airbnb, Bob's your uncle. You could actually make some decent money on a regular basis. So That could be your holiday money, it could be your car notes, it could be whatever you choose to allocate that money to, but it's a great way to make money. There we are, guys. Those are our key ones that we chose to. Now, we talked about all of these ones because they are for people who are willing to work a little bit, willing to do some elbow grease. It's not for everybody, but there are key things that you need to be able to do to be successful at each and every one of these side hustles that I've mentioned. So the first one is you've got to be consistent. Consistency is key. If you choose to advertise today and then you'd advertise again 6 months later, unfortunately, you're not going to get the traction that you need. So this is super important that you actually take into consideration the fact that before you start, you have to be willing to be consistent all the way. The next thing that you need to be able to do is to be determined. Determination is key. If you know that this is something you're going to start and just fall off the bandwagon, then that's not for you. You need to be someone who is determined and focused and able to achieve what they set out to do. The third characteristic that you need for this particular thing is you need to have a growth mindset. If you are someone who thinks that, okay, if I just get one this week, I'm good, you're not going to think about expanding or pushing yourself, right? But having a growth mindset in these circumstances will take you from here to here because you're willing to keep moving. And the last one is the willingness to go the extra mile. So those are your 4 characteristics that will help you in these side hustles and grow them potentially enough to even replace your own regular income, depending on how much you earn. So bear this in mind. I want to encourage you guys who are good with your hands, ladies who are good with your hands, use these. These are not for the faint-hearted and they ain't for the lazy, but I hope that you can actually make some money out of these. Thank you so much, guys. And of course, I always ask just a few things of you before you leave. I'd like for you to like this video, like you subscribe to my channel, and last but not least, share this video with someone who you think is handy, who could benefit from using these skills and make some money. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you on the next one.